So, John, I don't remember a preseason game, Bills-Bears, which turned out to be a blowout, that I was more interested in watching the first two series. You feel that way?
Yeah, that was the Bears Super Bowl last night, and it went well.
It was. Buffalo can't get to a Super Bowl. Bears had theirs in preseason. Not ideal for both. So Caleb Williams of the Chicago Bears, I thought he looked decisive. I thought he looked sharp. At one point, he dirted a ball on a screen play. Smart play. Get out of that. Get out of the negative plays. I think basically if you're a Bears fan, it's been a rough camp. It's a new system, a new coach. It hasn't been pretty. Even at Friday's practice, there were false starts. It was a bit ugly, so it's a big sigh of relief. There's a new system. Caleb likes to freelance. His coach doesn't not necessarily want that from his quarterback. So last night, Caleb Williams actually looked a little bit like Jared Goff. He quarterbacked like Jared Goff. He dirted the ball on screens. He got rid of and out of trouble. No negative plays. When he had a guy open, he hit him. Now, we know he's not Jared Goff. I honestly feel like Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, and you'll see this sometimes where you'll see a crazy talented artist marries an accountant. And it's not ever perfect. That doesn't mean it can't work. I mean, Andy Reid is a creative. Mahomes is a creative. That's perfect. I think Sean Payton feels like Bo Nix can run my play, but he can also run on his own. That feels perfect. Ben Johnson, I feel he's got a little bit of Kyle Shanahan. Run my play. And Kyle Shanahan's great. But you're going to have to let Caleb breathe. So to me, this whole relationship is about, because we know that Ben Johnson is going to win the first several arguments in this. Ben Johnson's a new coach. It's not a rich ownership group. They're not flushing him out. Caleb struggled his first year. So Ben comes in with leverage. But offensive coaches, and Andy Reid would tell you this, when you get somebody as gifted as Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen and Caleb Williams with that kind of horsepower, with that kind of firepower, it is your job as a coach to figure out how to maximize all that amazing clay. All you need, because I think Caleb's got a little Brett Favre, all you need is for that player, Mahomes, Lamar, Josh Allen, Brett Favre, to be amenable to throwing on time and on schedule and avoiding negative plays. I don't care how gifted you are. Josh Allen's not great if he's not on time, if he's not on schedule, and there's negative plays. Last year, Caleb was none of those consistently. So you don't have to be a perfect fit with Ben Johnson. But nobody succeeds in this league running around. It's not high school or college. Defensive ends here run 4.55s. They can catch you, and they'll punish you, and they'll lean on you and sit on you and drive you into the ground, whether it's legal or not, and you won't play long. Go ask Lamar Jackson, who suddenly in year 2 and 3 put on weight. Go ask Michael Vick, who started staying in the pocket. I think Caleb Williams' comp, when I watch him, is a little Brett Favre. You got to let him be a little bit of a gunslinger. You got to let him be himself. But Brett Favre mostly played on time, played on schedule. He threw a lot of bad picks. Favre threw a lot of bad picks. You could get away with that in Favre's era. I think offensive coaching is smarter. I think turnovers are more punitive. So I think this is a marriage stylistically that is not perfect. But I know Caleb. I like Caleb. I think he's coachable. But it may never be. It may never be Stafford and McVay, or Reid and Mahomes, or John Harbaugh and Lamar, or it just feels like, what a good marriage. I don't know if this ever will be, but what you saw was a glimpse of what it can be when Caleb is on time and on schedule and just get out of the negative place. So much. It's almost like being somebody that runs a movie studio. Not everything has to be Goodfellas. Not everything has to be Avatar. What you're trying to avoid is that Disney movie, John Carter. You're just trying to avoid a $350 million disaster as a studio head. Not everything needs to be Moulin Rouge and be a hit. It doesn't all have to be that. Just avoid the potholes. That is largely quarterback play. That is largely what Belichick says about Brady. No negative plays. It was either, 2nd and 6 or 2nd and 4. It was never 2nd and 15 and 3rd and 18. Get out of that stuff. And I thought when he dirted the screen pass, I thought, oh, that's perfect. That's growth from last year. just dirting the screen pass. You're like, okay, that last year he would have tried to make something out of it. Now, in Ben Johnson's school of offense, get out of the play. Give up the play. Don't extend the play. Just get out of there. Here was Caleb after.
A month ago, I think I've grown a lot. Now, my mindset is, keep growing. If that's handling everything at the line, handling everything, and taking things off other people's plates, that's what it is. And I've been able to do that consistently over the next couple of years is, important.
Okay, so I saw the media. It was partially media and partially like people online. So the quarterback battle, and now the Cleveland Browns and Kevin Stefanski, and I like Kevin Stefanski a lot, but you got to offer some clarity here, guys. You got to tell us what's going on, because we're getting into a Tebow situation, and this happens a lot. I've seen this in the NFL with Cam Newton, Colin Kaepernick, Tim Tebow. Nobody wants a celebrity backup quarterback. Now, years ago, Bill Parcells said one of the rules of drafting was don't draft a celebrity quarterback. Yeah, that's over. Sorry. Half of these guys, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold out of USC beating Penn State in a Rose Bowl, he becomes a celebrity. Half these guys are making $7 million in college. Arch Manning's a celebrity. Get over it. Draft him. So, but, this still holds true. You don't want a celebrity backup quarterback. And that hurt Tebow and Kaepernick and Cam Newton in New England. When Bill Belichick is, I like you, Cam, we can't have a superstar backup. You guys who love Shedeur in Carolina wearing his jerseys, you're making him into a celebrity. So if I'm a coach and I have to choose, okay, Joe Flacco's starting, Dillon Gabriel may be easier to deal with. You don't have to deal with the nonsense. So this weekend, Dillon Gabriel went on camera and said something that people blew way out of proportion. So here's what he said.
You gave us some fabulous wisdom on how you tune out the noise and you don't let it infiltrate yourself. Will you share that with everybody at home?
Yeah, I think it's just part of it. There's entertainers and there's competitors, and I totally understand that. And my job is to compete, and that's what I'm focused on doing.
That was not a shot at Shedeur Sanders. Shame on everybody that said it was. Do not. You're hurting Shedeur. You're turning a non-circus into a circus. When he said that, he was taking a shot at us. He was taking a shot at guys like me. He was saying, listen, there's people that talk about this stuff in the air. They're entertainers. I'm a quarterback. And I don't know exactly who blew it out of proportion, but when I was on my phone all weekend, the first 3 or 4 hours of this, until I did some digging, I'm like, why is he taking a shot at Shedeur? He wasn't. So essentially, everybody proved Dillon Gabriel's point, which is it's all about clicks and look at me and no nuance. He was not taking a shot at Shedeur Sanders. He was taking and he wasn't even really taking a shot at the media. He was describing what the media is. Entertainers. They got to get ratings. They got to drive revenue. Yeah, guilty as charged. Like, I try to do a good job of it, but like, I want the most entertaining topics. So the truth is about these guys, I have two strong opinions. I think Dillon Gabriel's size is an issue. I would have a hard time building around him. He's small. He's serious and he's businesslike. I like his temperament more than Shedeur, who's silly and kind of goofy. But I think Shedeur was underdrafted. Shedeur is bigger. I think he moves well. I would choose Shedeur over Dillon Gabriel, but Kevin Stefanski, he liked the seriousness, the accuracy, and the way he ran an offense, Dillon Gabriel at Oregon. I don't think either is transformational. And here's the thing. What NFL GMs really want from quarterbacks, they want you to be Andrew Luck. Great and boring. Brady was mostly boring when he played. Peyton Manning got really, really funny when he retired. Most of your great quarterback, even Mahomes with a huge personality, kind of hides in the offseason. They want you to be great and boring. If you're not great, and neither one of these quarterbacks is, you can't be the life of the party. I've said this for years. There's two rules about backup quarterbacks in the NFL. If I have to use you for 2 games, can you win one? Can you just win one of the 2 games I need you? 2 of my starters out for 4. Cooper Rush, great. He can win half the games. Starters should win 65% of the games. If they're great, Lamar, they win 75% of the games. And the other rule about backup quarterbacks, You should be able to put a baseball cap and sunglasses on in your local mall, walk around, and nobody knows who you are. You can never be a headline. Tebow, headline. Backup Cam, headline. Kaepernick, headline. Shedeur's becoming that. And this story, again, you think it helped Shedeur. It's hurting him. This story hurt. You know what the staff is saying in Cleveland this morning? Oh, Jesus. Maybe we just got to get out of this nonsense. Let's just get out of this nonsense. We got people thinking Dillon's taking shots. They'll get out of this business because Shedeur's not good enough. Tebow was not good enough to deal with the nonsense. So this was a prime example of sometimes you squeeze so tight. Shedeur's my guy, and I love Shedeur, and that guy's trying to get Shedeur. This is such a negative for Shedeur Sanders. This is what happened with Tebow. He'd take his shirt off and walk through practice, and it was 4 live shots at ESPN. And after a while, coaches are like, I had a coach tell me this. I kind of like him for the locker room and the roster. He's a good football player, but God, who wants that circus? I mean, he won a playoff game in Denver against Pittsburgh, beat Tomlin. And they're like, we're getting out of this business. Tebow could have been a backup somewhere. Nobody wanted the nonsense. And that's what this was. All right, John. Boy, I got to tell you, we don't want to take too much from the preseason. I'd be a little worried if I was Dallas. A little? No Micah? No Trayvon Diggs?
Good luck, Brian Schottenheimer.
There is an art to knowing when, they call it's a funny line, the Irish exit, when you leave a bar and you don't tell anybody.
Do it all the time.
Yeah, I've mastered it. I'm married to an Irish girl, so we've mastered leaving the party and not giving everybody a heads up. Some people know when to get off the train, when to exit. Mike McCarthy, a lot of you rolled your eyes at Mike McCarthy. In 6 months, Mike McCarthy may be a leading candidate for other NFL jobs. We'll talk about that coming up.